Well, today is Thursday the 16th, August. Update on Jenny plus Red Stallion. I'll just do Red Stallion first. This is going to go quick. I've been using her for logging in the woods. Very nice short wheelbase, plenty of power, mud tires, does the job. Got all the work I want done. The trailers can now get in the woods. They can fit now, and trailers are open now. So Jenny can now fit once she's back to running. So I'm kind of down with the Jeep, and I had it on Marketplace for a while, and I'm getting hits, but not that serious. Like 200 saves, impressive, but like 4 messages, but only 2 guys are serious. And my one is a friend in New York, and he wants to do a trade deal for his 3 Jeeps for this 1 Jeep. Of course, mine runs and his runs, but this is driving, his or not. But I can at least part out one of them, get some money back in cash, and then the rest of it have a nice Jeep. His is a CG2A with a V6 Buick, odd fire, alt air conversion, adapter, T90. That's about all it's really got. Stock steering, stock suspension. But the tub is homemade as well, like this one, but not this overkill. It's a lot lighter weight. And not overbuilt windshield, no hardtop. It's fine with me. I have a roll bar to put onto it. It's got fenders kind of beat up. Decent hood, decent grill. It's a 46, 47 grill. Yeah. Anyway, don't want to do the trade because it's not really an equal trade, but in all the parts I see, and definitely with the V6 Buick, to me they're harder to find than a V8, and it's more reasonable to have. Not this heavy of a motor. That my daily driver, I tow this home, but it's heavy, 8 miles a gallon. A CJ2A with a V6 should be a lot lighter. Comes with 16s and 15-inch wheels and a lot more reasonable. So I will be building a new Jeep soon. I want to finish this truck up, get it over with and done. Then this winter I'll move on to the CJ2A build. So that'll be my number 34 Jeep. So anyway, this is down here to get prepped and worked on. He's coming Saturday, today's Thursday. Last week, it got stuck in the woods. Had to winch it out with Jenny, and then it sat. So winched it out, got stuck, put up at the barn, it's been up there, and I have yet to get her to restart. Now, when she got stuck, I was revving it out a lot, trying to work it, like, just take my time. I used traction boards. That helped a little bit, but it's stuck between a rock and a stump. I can't go anywhere in mud. These tires are good in the front, but the back end are just bald, so lacking traction totally. So it's like I just give up. I'm not gonna force it. Not gonna break it too harshly. We'll just stop it, shut it off nicely, and go get Jenny, winch it out. Still won't start up. Got the tractor, towed it to the barn, and then today I towed it down here to work on it. So I'm wondering why it won't start. Now, I know it's got 5 gallons of fuel now in it. Just re-topped it off, 5 gallons. So the next thing was pull the air cleaner off, and I did starting fluid, spray, and it still won't kick over. If it's not going to start on starting fluid, I bet it's an electronic issue. Now, by the time I kept starting it and I got down to the barn here, the battery died. So now it's charging. So now I'm just doing an overall inspection of the Jeep. That wiring is a hack job, and that's probably all for the lights it's got, so I'm not going to touch any of those wires. Plus, that's all for the lights anyway. So what I'm focused on is spark plugs, distributor coil, resistor block. That's my focus to look after. And spark plugs, I think it's fine. The big thing I'm after is coil and distributor and such. So looking at it, I know even when I bought it, this green wire down here was never, it used to go there. It came out and it still runs fine. So, I don't know. And that goes this way to that way to, I don't know. It goes from green to brown. It just changes colors. See, I don't know what to trust on that one. But, besides that wire, okay, it runs without that wire. I don't have to worry about that wire being broken off. Next thing is looking at distributor wires. The electronic distributor, never had one before, so I'm just getting used to it. That's grounding, white one. White goes to yellow. Yellow went to this wire here. I'm looking at it. Okay, it's a female plug, flat pin. Where would it go? I don't see any other flat connections. These are screwed on connections, screwed on. Like, where else is a flat pin? The wire was it was like this, loose, and obviously it's going vertical, so it's meaning it went vertical, and these have flat pins. That's only one, and this one only has 2 connections, so my only guess it goes here. You know, see that thing is plugged and bent that way, so I'm gonna say it goes there. And see how loose that was? I didn't use much force. I think that just bounced off after I got stuck. So I'm gonna try this as is, but battery of course is charging, so I'm gonna try that out. Anyway, that's all I can really talk about. Oil levels okay. Transmission T90, can't really check it too well. But anyway, it's mainly starting issue, not my oil levels to worry about. I did break that light off going doing logging, but that one it's already been broke off, so now they're equal. Alrighty, that's about all I got for this Jeep. Moving on to Jenny. So I've been working on the hood, repainted it, stripped it down, repainted it after it caught fire, and it's like hot rod red, and I want it burgundy, back to factory, sort of, so it matches my firewall, my fenders. The grill is still next to work on. So I got this reinstalled, new, all painted, spring washers, cotter pin replaced. So, and I still gotta do this part to go back on there. That slips in there. Rubber piece goes there. So that's what's left to do there. The next thing I'm working on is the badging that goes on there. Pain in the ass to put those on, those clips for the badges. Now being $50 each, they're rattling a lot. They're pretty loose fit replacement reproductions. So this time, when installing them, I went ahead and heated it up a little bit and put some silicone. It's something to help. Metal against metal versus silicone. It's going to stop the noise and hopefully glue itself onto steel. And apparently it's already working there. Still gonna make this side tighter. That side's all tight now. So hopefully that helped for noise and hold it in place. So that's that. And then also up here, these are my lights that mount up here to my hooks on the side of the hood. They shine the engine bay up at night, car shows, and just overall side of the road maintenance. You don't have to hold a flashlight, just turn the lights on. So during the fire in May, they kind of got roached. They still work, but this wire harness is pretty sketch at this point. So I'm gonna get new wires, which I have, and it's actually together. So just like this stuff together, it's not separate. So it's made a nice cleaner design. I'm not gonna do the splices and all. I'm just gonna do this section to like this section. So pretty much the whole cross section redo, make it nice, pretty new lines. Clips I made just to hold them in place. It'll bounce loose. That's it for the hood. I got a new tool for the shop. Bought this at auction, $50. Got to restore it. Nice chop saw, no more sawzall being used, and angle grinder for cutting steel. It will be useful to make my rock sliders, side steps. All right, the next thing is, I don't think I recorded, I posted, the bed is off of the truck and I am repainting it underneath. Yeah, during my first restoration of having the truck last year, I did all the work I could, but May is getting close for the reunion. And so I don't have time to pull the fenders off, get the mounts re-welded, make them stronger, and then strip it and paint it black. So I never got to it. So the goal here is to tilt it onto its tailgate on the ground, on a skid probably, lift it up, support it on the back side. I'll just work on it outside or inside, we'll see. And I'm gonna pull the fenders off, clean them, paint them, and then underneath, sort of strip the rust on the bottom. There's no rust holes, just surface rust from the 40s through nowadays, from plowing snow its life. So it's not rusted out, it's just surface rust. So I'm gonna get that stripped, primered, and then painted black with Eastwood paint. So that's the deal there. The fenders I don't need to pull off, but if I ever do need to pull them off, right now they're a pain. I know they are carriage bolts, so that will make it a little easier, Most likely I'll be grinding this side down and then punch them out, because the workups in here will be a pain, and I don't want to damage the mounts on the fenders. It's gonna cost me money, so I don't want to weld it, have my friend do it with a TIG. Maybe it'll just burn through and make it worse. So I'm just gonna grind on the inside of the bed, which is fine with me, and then paint it, touch up. So that's the idea there. That's about it for the bed. The pockets I can live with. They need replaced, but I can live with them. These sideboards are pretty sturdy. I may have that fender touched up on repairs, but the big repair thing it needs is this piece. That's where the most of my rust I have for the whole truck. And so my idea was pop these bolts off. Pop new bolts off, put new ones in. But beforehand, get angle iron and just beef up all the way down this one whole solid piece angle iron, and just do spot welds. Help beef it up. The bed needs replaced if you're doing Concord restoration, and it just needs a new bed. It's not bad for its age, but my body shop guys, yeah, this beat. But anyway, so that's my scoop on this thing. Now onto the truck itself. I want to tidy up the wiring back here. There's a few tidy ups to do, cleaning to do, especially this mess right here. And there's no connections really over here. I mean, it's a fuel connection, it's not leaked since then, but if it does leak and then you have an next electrical, hit a switch, fire. So I want to guard that off a little bit. Anyway, that's that. On front, nothing new to work on there. The big thing is engine was running very rough, and so we did a whole tune-up. First thing before doing any tune-ups, what are the specs and the numbers, vacuum, compression, timing, and so vacuum was already like 12 psi. You know, like you put the hand over the carburetor with the air cleaner off, it still runs. Like we have a big vacuum leak somewhere, but I gotta check something. Probably taking one take videos. You still mowing grass. So I make a video, I talk, get almost 2/3 done, and then someone comes down and talks to me. I gotta retake. Anyway, so yeah, put the hand over the carb, and it's got a big vacuum leak at 12 psi. It should be up in the 20s, 30s. It's leaking a lot. And the next thing is check its compression numbers. I know the motor got rebuilt back in 1984, from a well-known shop in town, from Dick Ireland. He now died, but it's well-known shop, machine shop, and engine rebuilds. And so it's got new cams, bearings, all that stuff about 700 miles ago, back in 84. When I first bought the truck, compression numbers were all 135 plus PSI, good numbers. When we rechecked, so factory should be for FEDs 120, 130. For what I was getting was 145, 48, 44, 38. 38's low compared to the rest, but it's still way above factory spec. So motor's healthy at least. Anyway, and we messed with the timing, got that to 5 degrees in timing. It was way down, so timing light on there. It was spinning, it was way down here, we brought it up. Advanced it, I guess. So it's 5 degrees right now. Just the carburetor, messing with them, I don't know, did a lot of stuff. Next thing was like, let's put a tach to it and see what's my current RPM. And so the current RPM is like a 1200-ish RPM idle, way too high. So we turned the screw in the carburetor down and brought it down to like 140 RPM, 840. So it's brought down a little bit more. It's not to the lowest as we kind of want to be, but I'd rather be too high so at stop signs and whatever, it won't stall for some reason because it's way too low at the verge of stall. So that's that. And somehow, during all this time, I knew the fan blade was hitting my alternator, and now it stops. Probably because the idle is so high, maybe. But I will say this, when I was winching out that Jeep out of the woods, and before it was all tuned up, running pretty rough. I was running full choke just to keep it running, because I have obviously a big vacuum leak, and engine's constantly surging on its own. It's like, I can tell this battery's big enough, but this alternator 100 amps is not enough for the big Warn winch. Running snatch block, it just not enough power. So we'll be upgrading alternator at some point, as a must for all my electronics. But anyway, the one thing we did notice, and again, during tune-up, idle was constantly pulsating, having issues. But once we hooked up the TAC, okay, also it's 40 dwell, just getting over with the last spec talk. But when we hooked up to the TAC, to the coil, on the back side of the coil, so that would be on the plus side, I put Sharpie marks on the head, so I know which side is what wire. But, positive and negative. Makes it a little easier to do. But on the positive side, you put that on there, you put pressure on that wire and on the coil itself, all of a sudden the engine flattened out. It was happy, right where it should be. No more pulsating, it's happy. So it's like a bad wire connection or the coil itself. And we were just stumped, can't figure it out. And Grandpa says, I think your grounding's bad. So you have first dairy grounding, the wire itself for negative, but also you have your actual coil case. The bracket that goes to the block in the motor should be grounded out too. And obviously I had paint on the bracket, paint on the engine, and obviously the coating on the coil. And so when they all left that day, the next day I worked outside here and took the bracket off, wire wheeled the paint off, wire wheeled the block mounting area, and wire wheeled the coating off the coil, and then it improved. No more pulsating issues. So engine's running as it should now. But my new current issue with the truck, driving wise, only in first gear, it still does a thing as it did before, but at least the idle's been fixed. I always keep forgetting. It's not surging, it's not pulsating. I keep doing this to myself, forgetting it. But I don't know. It's the first 1 to 2 inches of the pedal. As you press down the pedal, I don't know the word to say about it. It's not surging, but it's like it's starving for fuel, per se. Is that the word? No, it's not that. But it's like I want more fuel. I'm pressing down. It's not giving it fuel. But once you get past the 2-inch throw of the pedal, down to hit the floor, it's healthy. It's happy. Just that first 1.5 inches or so is just not happy at all. Shift second gear, let off the gas, press on again. It's happy. It's only that first gear initial start. So maybe it's my linkage down here. This is the worst connection, the gas pedal to this piece. I will agree that's the worst connection. Next thing is, that's loose, but every Jeep I've seen is loose, and you can't buy these anymore. So, you gotta do takeoffs. And that's my only guess, that it could be the linkage. But then Grandpa's saying, maybe it's your exhaust muffler. There's something back up in your exhaust. So last night I took the muffler off the Jeep and straight piped it down the road. It sounds great. Better than that V8. And then it's got a little more power. I did a nice wind wheel burnout. It's got power. That's loud. But that didn't solve it. No, did not solve it. So my guess is valves. I've not checked valves since I owned the truck. Of course, they were adjusted back 700 miles ago during the rebuild. But exhaust and intake need to be inspected. So I think that's 15,000, that's 18,000, I'm not sure. But that needs to be checked. So that's where we're at. We're kind of stumped on that pedal issue for the first inch in first gear. That's my current issue with the truck. So that's that. That's about it for the video here, for updates on the truck. Now for upgrades for the truck. I still can't sell the truck. No one wants it. It's okay. I'm going to keep it at this point. Still needs glass. I might check. You know, I do hear a tractor again, but paranoid. We're good. So we still gotta fix the door handle and the glass. Door handle, I'm gonna abandon this idea I have. That's okay over there. But I have a new idea. It's a lot more simpler than this, a lot more secure, a lot more stronger. It's just gonna take, probably pull the seat off, make it a little easier to access, drill a hole, and you have backside access. Do we? Not really. Essentially, just for sake of talk, you just have something like this, and it's on a pivot with a handle, and you just pivot that down. A lot stronger piece of thick steel up against the frame of the door here. So here goes down, or on that side down. Simpler. I don't know. That's my next idea. If I can't do that idea. So that's the door handle idea for now. Glass stoning's fixed. I could deal with the doors. That's it for in here. Now the next thing in here is dashboard configuration. I definitely want to redesign this whole thing. Get a CJ5 center cluster. That's one idea, but it's still a lot more custom mounting to figure out. I think the easiest route is to keep it with a military dashboard M38 design from the 40s. Big square, big holes to mount, wing nuts, comes right off. Might even want to put a hinge, make it pivot. Easy to do maintenance on the wires and installing gauges. Pivots up, 2 wing nuts, it's installed. Versus this thing, there's wing nuts on it too, but on the back side back here, wing nuts off, pull it that way, spin it, spin it, spin it, and it might have a chance of ruining your temp or oil pressure lines that are tubed. Or a wire might get hooked, or if it's still active battery, you might short it out, which I've done once. So that's my idea here. The cigar box, I no longer have. I have it. I have the front piece, but I don't have a way to hold it in place. So it's pretty useless. So I don't mind making the dashboard taller per se. Fit a little more gauges, more space in here. Still going to use this hole for a phone mount. Eventually get a nice phone mount, main mount there. So that's the center cluster there. Now the big top 2 upgrades I'm going to be doing is Holley EFI. I did order the adapter from Turn and Burn. It's arrived. I got it with the fuel pump plate. But I still got to order the EFI unit, $900 plus all accessories, fittings, and hoses and pumps and filters from Summit Racing. Waiting on a friend. He's got a business, opening of a Summit Racing business account, so I can save some money through him versus like a 10% off code. So I'm waiting on that to do the order. The next thing, so once EFI is here and being installed, the module will go here for touchscreen module. Then this radio, I'm gonna move it up on the ceiling. So all the modern Jeepers put the radios on the ceiling. I will be doing that too. But I'm gonna do a molly rack. So this is molly rack here, but it's fabric. This is more of a steel cage across, and so you can store sweaters, hats, gloves, basic tool bags, like these pouch sizes, for your medical bag, and basics like stickers. We'll always have stickers on us, and then also basic set of tools, very basic. My main set's right here, but I don't want to obviously have it up there too heavy. But that fits down below the seat, but have quick access to a small screwdriver and knife, that's fine. Of course, I have access to this big knife up here I keep. It's more my machete slash hatchet slash, but anyway. And that's spaces for the ducks. Ducks all get stored up in there. Anyway, that's that for upgrades in there. So CB and GRMS up there. And I'll free up more space down here. And the next thing I'm actually working on is a new product. So us wagons and trucks, we have this dome lens that goes here. So you have the cover, it's glass, and kind of diffuses that light bulb and makes it a nice dome light for the cabin here. Seems like no one's reproducing those anymore, and I couldn't have any luck finding one. I did find one for $5 at a swap meet. Good deal there. Midwest Willys has a bunch of used ones as well that I didn't know till afterwards, but no one's reproducing any new ones. Kaiser Willys or Jeepster, and no one's doing it. And so on my own, took the nice new one I found at a swap meet that's good shape. I 3D scanned it and modeled it, and then got the file, printed it out, nice quality. I like it, I'm happy, but it needs to be clear plastic, PPG, which I don't have. My printer can't print that type of clear plastic. So anyway, I sent a sample to Mike from Kaiser Willys, and Mike's like, oh, it fits perfect. No housing it up in there and fits perfect. Just can make it clear. Obviously I will, once I figure out the density to make it kind of the same type of clear. It's kind of foggy, hazy clear from the factory in glass. So we're still working on that. I'm working with a college in town. It's like $1 to $2 each to print, about I think 3 to 4 hours of print per. They got 30 printers, so mass production for us. And anyway, Mike has asked me to make 50 of them, and he'll order 50. Maybe have to settle on price. I'm thinking $25 a unit cost. It costs $2 to make, so that's a good profit margin on my end. So I'm not sure what they want to set price on. And then also I missed a phone called Jeepster Man. Just one of the employees answered. I'm still waiting back from Jonathan if he wants any. I mean, it's not a huge market. It's not a huge thing. I'm not selling reproduction glass or reproduction handles. And I could probably 3D print this, but also even though it'll, I have it over here. Reprint one of those. They're all made of ivory back in the day. So I can probably print those out. There's a guy printing those out right there. You could buy his. But I think they're like $40. And I could print that for 50 cents. I could sell for $10. Cut his prices. I don't want to hurt a Jeep community, a small community, but if I could beat your prices, I can sell a lot more. Doesn't hurt to have two types. Anyway, that's that. But like even running basic numbers, if I sell 50 units at $25, that's $1,000-ish. Is it? I hate math. But that money alone helps me pay off credit card. It helps me buy EFI right there. But also my next big upgrade will be a drop-down brake pedal. That's clutch, that's brake. So brakes are okay right now, but I want this to be a daily driver. So I want to do a drop-down brake pedal, brake booster, dual master right in this area. That's that, and just do front disc brakes for now. Eventually rear disc brakes if time and money gets there. And when I do the big master, all these electronics get moved over there. The battery gets moved over there. So that's that. And then inside the axle, I might even install a limited slip diff in the front. Again, I'd rather have the back end drag and the front end crawls, not be pushing with a locked diff in the rear. Plus, you can't find any differentials for a Dana 53, so more better off building the 25 axle up. I do need to get new seals as well for the cups. They're pretty bad, so I think this winter, big thing this winter is going to be disc brakes, brake booster, and the steering box needs rebuilt. Add a locker for the front axle. That's going to be wintertime fun. Right now, I might even do EFI winter. We'll see. If not, do it now. Painting, of course, now. Another big thing of EFI, I'm going to need a different gas tank. This gas tank doesn't have a drain, so I'm kind of mad about that, but it has bad fuel. I can't drain it. I got to siphon it out. There is no return port for fuel off your EFI, so I hate to tap in the plastic and it leaks and issues, and you're pulling at 40 psi of the pump. So my friend that does help with me, my carburetors, he's gonna take the tank for his truck, get my money back, and then I'm gonna get a new metal stainless or so tank to go back in here. So that's that. I'll probably reuse this line for return and then get a new braided line for the actual fuel itself. And then once the bed goes back on, rock sliders get made this winter. Not those compressors. Get this thing working. Air up tires. And I guess the last part of the video, last part of the truck to talk about that I want to be doing is new tires. So these tires are great. They're no problem. I've been at 15 PSI right now. Or not squatted that much, but 15 PSI they've been at since May, since reunion, then Bantam, and then still now. They're still air down. They're holding PSI, even though they're cracking. Cracks. Even worse back here. But they hold. They have traction. But I'm looking at, again, I like BFG brand label tires. So I'll probably do Cam 3s. So, yeah, that's about all. Updates, upgrades I got for you. So, all right, that's enough. Thanks for listening. Bye.